Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and we've got two of the very best decks in Marvel Snap for you. Exclusively, these are finalists in the Johnson Cup. These are both within the top 10 of the Post Infinite leaderboard. These are decks you are not going to find anywhere else. We're also doing our giveaway, our last chance review of Corvus, and so much more. This is a humongous episode. We are also kicking off our season pass giveaway. We usually give away 15 season passes. I don't even know how many we're giving away. I think we're giving away something like over 20 because I promised a 9,000 subscriber giveaway, and then I was away for a week as we hit 9,000 subs. So since I am back now, we are going to do an absolutely huge giveaway of the Hope Summers season pass. Hope Summers is a 3/3. As far as we know, the card is +1 energy for each time you play a card in her location, which means she works amazingly with cards like Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, and Jeff. And we might have the return of Silky Smooth, everyone's favorite Marvel Snap meta. All right. You can enter every video from this one that you're watching up to the 3/8 video. So starting this Monday, going up until next Friday, every single video is a giveaway. Got it? All you have to do is be subbed, like, and comment. If you do those things, you are entered to win that day's giveaway. I'll announce them about once a week. This way I'm not trying to give away a million at a time. We are also going to give away a bunch on Twitter. That's going to go live on Tuesday morning at Snap JudgeCast. Make sure you're following there so you don't miss that out. There's going to be 5 season passes on Twitter and like 14 or 15 here. So just make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you're getting your season pass from us. We're giving one away, and if you want to enter extra chances for the giveaway, well, we maintain a giveaway sheet. It's in the description to this and every video. It's every active giveaway in Marvel Snap currently. We are also sponsoring a league. This league's sign-up deadline is this Thursday, 2/29. How this works is you sign up for the $1 Patreon, and that gives you access to the league. You join the Discord, and from the Discord, you actually sign up for the league. And then you have 1 game a week against an opponent in a pod of about 32. The winner of that pod goes into single elimination. Each pod winner wins, you guessed it, a season pass. Top 2 in the league are going to get a bigger prize. We are doing it up. We are doing this tournament at least every other month, and we're aiming for every month where possible. If not, we'll have something special for off months. Make sure you're in. This is your chance to play against some of the biggest creators in Marvel Snap, from Lambie to Drew Berry, and on it goes. So don't miss out. We recently, I'm pretty sure, the great Den of Marvel Snap Zone himself is joining. So if you want to be able to play these incredible players, well, this is a wonderful time to sign up for that league. On the start with the Patreon, patreon.com/snapjudgments. Hopefully I've given you enough reason to subscribe, but just in case, if not, we bring you at least 3 brand new decks every single weekday. We often bring you more. We have the most comprehensive and thorough Marvel Snap content. We get you the best decks before anyone else does. And by subscribing to us, liking, and commenting, you help us fight that YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm only wants to show you cozy and decks over and over again. Those are great, guys, but hey, we'd like to grow too. And your likes, your subs, your comments help tell that algorithm that it should show us to more people. So please help us out. All right, so our format for today, we're going to go to questions of the day after this. Then we've got Sizer's deck. Sizer is playing a absolute hella killer of a Loki deck. We'll talk about why that is. Then I'm going to announce something called King of the Hill. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Then we've got FAK Crazy's deck. FAK Crazy's deck is stellar, both Sizer's and FAK's. I'm just going to say Crazy. And Crazy's decks can be found on guests' Twitch/YouTube. They're from the Johnson Cup, but they're also ladder dominant decks. We then have a last chance review of Corvus Glaive, what I think of the card 1 week in, and whether I think it's worth your precious spotlight caches. And then we will go over a We Vote Wednesday deck winner. Every Wednesday, viewers vote for a lesser played card to be in a deck. This week, Jean Grey won, so we have a deck from the Counter Guy on Thursday 4. It is a Jean Grey deck. It is what Jean Grey does. We'll end, as always, with our shop and shoutouts. All right, Charlie Oliver asks a variant I love but never get to use. Right now, I want to play that Hip Squirrel Girl real bad. I went and got a gold border on the Rion Squirrel Girl, and I don't have enough Squirrel Girl boosters left from my Series 1 and Series 2 journey to continue to play and split Squirrel Girl. So I would really, really, really like a really good Squirrel Girl deck, but I don't have one. So I'm a little sad, even though Squirrel Girl is a We Vote Wednesday deck. I just need to play it enough to get my extra boosters to split this card. The other card I'd really like to play is I bought the Peach Momoko White Queen, and I love it, but I have nowhere to play it. White Queen is a card that sort of got powered out of the meta by just straight up better options over time, and now it's a card not really worth playing. Fire Troll asks why I think Beast was killed, and there's two ways to read that. Why do I personally believe that Beast was killed when he was changed? There's an argument that he was made better because now he's 2, and 2 is easier to play than 3. And you can read it as why did they kill Beast? So let's answer both ways. First, I think Beast was killed largely because a lot of the decks that used to want Beast, not all of them, but they used to want Beast, is they would do things like play early cards and then on turn 3 or 4 Beast, and the goal of Beast was to play those cards again on the last turn of the game. The last turn of the game, then they would be food for either Hitmonkey or for Werewolf by Night. As they worked with either of those cards, they were extraordinarily powerful. Now, if for that ability to happen, you have to Beast on turn 5. That's obviously significantly harder. You also lose the opportunity to go 1-drop, 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 Beast on 3, into all those 1-drops again, Falcon on 4 or 5, and then get multiple uses out of those 1-drops. 1-drops are significantly weaker because they're so much cheaper than basically anything in the game, and losing this ability, I think, kills Beast in the way it was previously used. It's still a fine card, but it went from one of my 5 favorite cards in the game to a card that would struggle to make the top 20. Now, why did they do this? They did this because Beast was strictly better than Proxima Midnight in basically every deck. Proxima Midnight is the season pass card that they're selling. A 3-4 Beast with its previous ability was almost always better and more versatile than the 3-5 Proxima Midnight. Now, Beast had a different use. That different use for Beast made it better. Replaying ones instead of just getting free ones once was better. Now you need 2 cards. Fundamentally, in order to get the Beast effect, you need to use Falcon and Proxima, which makes those decks way, way worse. However, Proxima does have one deck where you wouldn't want the old Beast. It is covered in yesterday's video. It's a Phil Woodward deck. It's one of the best decks right now, I think, to hit Infinite with, because it absolutely farms bots and players don't know what the hell you're doing with it. So check yesterday's video if you want more on that. But I believe they killed Beast specifically for Proxima, and I think that they killed Beast because the way it was previously used is no longer viable in anything like the same way. Calvin Jam wonders if we'll ever be getting any more straight to Series 4 cards, and honestly, I don't think so. I don't know this, right? Like, I have no inside information. And we'll know by the end of the week, but my feeling is that they're going to make these a lot rarer, which I think really screws up the economy of the game and makes it much harder to stay series complete, because the 3,000 token Series 4 cards were fundamentally how you would stay mostly card complete by just buying the season pass. If that's no longer an option, or the main option for staying complete, then what you have to do is you have to wait for series drops, and they're not announcing how often they're going to be because they don't want people to hoard, and they sort of are preying on everyone's FOMO. So you can still get the same cards in Series 4, but you have to wait for them to drop now. And waiting a certain amount of time means you're more likely to spend money and be impatient. So I think that's what they're doing. I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. But every decision they've made recently, as far as killing all the data mines for everything, has suggested that this is their business plan, so it's not surprising to see it come this way. Foxtrail wants to know how to maximize Jean Grey, and we're going to talk about that later in the video with We Vote Wednesday. If you'd like your questions read out in Wednesday's video, tomorrow's video's already got questions. In Wednesday's video, leave them in the comments. Alright, this is the Sizer Loki deck that absolutely smashes the face off Hela, especially in Conquest, but hey, it's really good against Hela basically no matter what. This deck is incredibly strong and incredibly versatile. Sorry, the cat got up and looked at me. Basically, it's a standard Loki deck, right? And you go, what makes this so special? What makes this so special? I'm just going to tell you right off the top, the combo that beats Hela is often, if you have a Cosmo out, you know they can't Hela there. There's very often only one other safe place to Hela. If you've got Priority and Juggernaut, you can Juggernaut their Hela into that Cosmo. Good. If you play both on the last turn of the game, that works just as well. Now, if you feel like you're facing a blob or something and they don't have Caer, and you would like to try the same thing and you have Zabu out, you can also Juggernaut their card that I guess you would have to lose priority for this, but you can Juggernaut their card over to where you Shang-Chi and get extra value out of your Shang-Chi that way. It's a really, really cool combo that I honestly never thought of, and it doesn't work every time. But because Shang is in one lane and Juggernaut's in another, Cosmo's in one lane and Juggernaut's in the other, that's a 66% success rate if you can set up that combo. And setting up that combo is not terribly difficult because you have the other combo of the deck as well, where it's just like play Loki, play with Quinjet, play your cards better than you and win that way. So there's lots of wonderful options to win the game with this deck. So I think Mobius is probably better as Professor X here. I think Professor X against Hela basically takes away the guesswork, and it's fairly easy to win that lane against Hela. You don't end up playing that Professor X against Thanos and other meta decks fairly often, but like ultimately I think I'm fine with that. You can still get a Professor X off reasonably often by using Ms. Marvel, and you have enough cheap stuff to make Ms. Marvel really viable, and at that point your Juggernaut, your Shang-Chi, etc. just get significantly better, your Cosmo, and so on. Ms. Marvel can be Omega Red, you lose a bit, but not too much. Mirage may still be better as Sentinel, I'm never sold that Mirage is the right card here. Zabu is needed, as is Loki, and Snowguard can be Maria Hill. Snowguard is much better, but Maria Hill is a perfectly acceptable replacement. Alright, so this is the current rank 9 deck as of recording, as of me checking last. This was the number 9 rank deck on Post Infinite Ladder. Sizer, of course, finished either first or tied for first, depending on your perspective, in the December season, so he's a phenomenal player. His team, Team Sizer, also made the finals of the Johnson Cup, the 3-on-3 tournament that is basically almost every top player in the world playing in 3-on-3 matchups. This is one of the decks that helped make the finals of that tournament. We're going to look at the other main deck from that team soon. This is one of the two. So turn 1, Snowguard is generally better than Quinjet, but by turn 2, we would rather have Quinjet over Snowguard usually. Unless you're aiming for, well, even if you're aiming for turn 4 Loki, right? Zabu is your priority on turn 2, though. And then Mirage is just fine if you have to. Turn 3, Coulson over Mobius equal Mobius is generally better than Cosmo. I like to say save Cosmo for late in the game, though if you know you're going to Loki stuff away, getting Cosmo out earlier can be better. And Mobius is only as good as Coulson, depending on matchup and hand size. Sometimes you actually do want to fill your hand early if you have Loki already and are trying to keep cards that you might want later in your deck. Turn 4, Loki is better than Ms. Marvel. Loki and Snowguard is one of your best possible plays here, or Loki and Quinjet. Both are absolutely excellent. You can Loki on turn 3, but I tend not to unless I went Snowguard Zabu specifically. Turn 5, Loki is generally better than Devil Dino, but you're deciding on Prio where you Devil Dino. Sometimes you Devil Dino in a place you're already strong to go far enough ahead but stay behind for Shang-Chi. Sometimes you play Devil Dino in a place you have nearly nothing to claim priority and then set up your Juggernaut combinations. And then we already talked about the last turn combos of Jug and Shang or Jug and Cosmo. Alright, some quick variant talk. We've got hips. We got Zabu, Cosmo, Mobius, Coulson, Ms. Marvel. So 5 hips. Then, I don't know why, but I like to run this Loki with this Devil Dino. They feel like they're similar artists. I should probably look up if they are the same artist. But they feel like they are either way. And then we doubled up on the babies for Juggernaut and Shang-Chi here. Alright, so you know about the League. I've been telling you about the League every day. If you don't know about the League, hey, watch the beginning of the video. We talk about it. Gunny is also over on the Discord for Patrons running King of the Hill tournaments. These have small prizes, but they're basically top 8 single elimination tournaments. They're going to run on a schedule going forward. We don't know what that schedule is yet, but basically a couple times a week to several times a week, there'll be just a quick top 8 tournament for you to test your mettle at. All you have to do is be part of the Patreon, part of the Discord to join it. So double check those if you're interested. We have held 3 of those so far, 1 Friday and then 2 Saturday, and we have 3 winners. So we're going to quickly talk about those 3 decks before we get to the other deck that we're going to talk about, which I think is the best deck in the game. Not to hype it up too much, but I think it is genuinely the best deck in Marvel Snap. All right. So I Am the Way 83 won the first King of the Hill with this completely bog standard. This is the old Italian player version, the .geo version of Thanos Lockjaw. Cool. We've seen this deck. When this one won the first one, I was like, huh. Well, I guess this series doesn't have to give us super interesting decks, but at least it's giving us powerful decks. We can see that this deck is still really strong, it's still really effective, and it still wins games of Marvel Snap. Great. Well, we got two more, and they are far weirder. So Scooch won with this completely wild deck that a bunch of people on the Discord have now been playing and having great success with. This will struggle into Hela some, unless you can, like, clog them. But it's pretty damn good into Thanos, which really wants the location ability and really doesn't like having its stuff junked up. You get a lot of power out in this deck in a lot of interesting ways, and your opponent can't really deal with it. You're often dropping your Nihilist last turn, leaving your opponent thinking that you're not going to have it, which is really, really nice. As you go Black Bolt into either a Nihilist stature or into a Nihilist demon. And either of those plays are just completely backbreaking for opponents, where if you've got a Sentry out and a Hood out, that's just an absolute massive amount of power on the board. This is a very cool deck. Congrats to Scooch. We also have Benjamin Roller, who's been playing Surfer Move forever. Benjamin Roller has been both on the podcast, check not this past week's episode, but 2 weeks ago's episode for Benjamin Roller and Lauren Whatevs. This week we had Den and Gunny ranking the top 10 decks in Snap. Excuse me, sorry, still fighting that cold. Benjamin has this incredible deck. It's the best Surfer in the game, I'm pretty sure. He plays it the best of anyone. It's very, very disruptive and difficult to deal with all the different things this does. Kingpin's negative power really does add up. You can Polaris or Spider-Man into it. You can, in games where you don't see Sarah, you can just go 2-drop Surfer, and then you can play Absorbing Man on the last turn of the game. You can also just Absorbing Man Brood for a ton of power. This is ultimately a Shaw deck. Shaw finally replaced Punisher as Benjamin decided to try and actually win the damn tournament. But hey, Forge into Brood into Absorbing Man is still crazy strong, and if you can then Sarah and like Shaw, Surfer, and Juggernaut, you've won, right? Like, there's a lot to like about this deck. If you play it well, you win a lot of games of Marvel Snap. You have a lot of powerful cards that scale upwards. And this is the best deck in Marvel Snap. This is FAK Crazies, Thanos. This made the finals of the Johnson Cup, beating many of the very best players in the world, just stomping them out. The brilliance here is it kept the Thanos Lockjaw shell, but instead said, what if I added Alioth and Professor X to deal with Hela? Alioth and Professor X deal with other stuff too, right? Like, they'll occasionally win you a Loki matchup and so on, but what they really do is stomp out Hela. Hela needs space to play cards. If you've won one of those with Professor X, Blob can often win you another. And even if not, if you have priority and only 2 places to choose from, Alioth is often completely backbreaking. You take that 50-50 every time, and you win a ton of the time just because you have an absolute crazy amount of power on the board, because you're still a big-ass Thanos build that can still do things like go Time Stone into Cull Obsidian into Scar, right? Like, and then you just added a ton of power by turn 4, spend your turn 5 going Vision or Professor X, and turn 6 playing Alioth, Thanos, Magneto, whatever nonsense. You can cheat out huge power with Lockjaw. There's just tons and tons and tons of ways to win with this deck. Hell, we can even wave and Blob early and set up an Alioth later. Alright, Thanos, Alioth, Scar, Blob, Jeff, and Cull are all needed. Yes, that's expensive, sorry. You can use Armor for Caer. It is way worse. Like, Caer is absolutely humongous in this deck. As of right now, FAK Crazy is the number 2 ranked player, but if you want to watch this in tournament play, I don't know FAK's Twitch, if they have one. You can find games on either Guess Video on Demand or YouTube at youtube.com/@itsguessgaming or twitch.tv/itsguessgaming. Cool. Either way, check it out. This is a sight to behold. So this is the number 2 deck in Marvel Snap currently. Like, the player who's ranked number 2 is playing it to be number 2. This player was number 1, and I believe, don't know for sure, obviously there's no way to know, still would be, but so much of this person's time has gone into the Johnson Cup over the weekend that they fell to number 2. So Crazy is a crazy player. When you watch him play, you'll know. Turn 1, draw. Turn 2, Jeff or draw. Sometimes Time Stone, but usually Jeff or draw. Turn 3, Lockjaw or Ramp. Turn 4, Professor X if you can, or Vision, or a card into Jaw, or Cull. Turn 5, Professor X or Vision, or Scar and Cull plus a stone. Scar Call plus a stone into Lockjaw is a great play, and turn 6 is generally Blob or Alive. This is hard to play, but absolutely stellar strength. It is again my belief that this is currently the very best deck in Marvel Snap. It has the most answers to the most stuff. Alright, quick hip count. We got Jeff and Jaw, Wave, and Eliath, and Vision, and Magneto. We could have Scar, but we chose not to. I decided to go with Baby Thanos because we have Baby Professor X here. That's it. This is a stellar deck. You should absolutely play it. Final thoughts on Corvus Glaive. Okay, so as of right now, the real question we have to ask ourselves is, do you like Hela? As of right now, Corvus Glaive is a Hela card. It's sometimes a Hela card running Black Knight. It's sometimes a Hela card running Lockjaw, and sometimes a Hela card in Thanos. But it is ultimately, right now, largely a Hela card. If you enjoy Hela, you should get Corvus Glaive. It is, I mean, the best card for that archetype since Black Knight. It's extremely strong, extremely versatile. It's game winning. I don't know what else to say. It's absolutely game winning. If you don't like Hela, you don't have a home for this, and there's no real point in getting it. Now, the issue is going to be Classic Discard. If you like Classic Discard, it might come back with Corvus and Proxima. However, I think that deck is more likely to need Proxima than Corvus. Like, Corvus is probably good there, but probably not a requirement for that version of the deck where it is for Hela, who just wants the ability to cheat out extra 6 costs early. So I think Corvus is ultimately a yay if you want Hela, and a probably if you like Discard. Now, if you need X-23 or Gladiator, both X-23 and Gladiator are significantly better cards than anything coming out with Proxima, and I would definitely open for Corvus and either of those over Proxima and either of the Series 4 cards that come with Proxima, unless you just badly want base Discard and don't have MODOK and Dakin. I think Corvus is a grab for Discard lovers exclusively. If you want to play that deck is one of the best. No one knows how long it's going to be one of the best. It could be one of the best for the next week. It could change in this Thursday's OTA after Corvus is out of spotlights, or it could change in 2 months and they could leave this forever. We don't know. Don't overstress it. For now, Hela will be at least good with Corvus Glaive. So if that's something you want to play, get it. And if it's not, skip it. All right, every Wednesday we vote for a lesser played card to feature in a deck. Our winner this week is Jean Grey. If you'd like to vote on a card to be featured, check this Wednesday. Oop, I got, sorry. My virus protection has expired for the past, 3 years, so that had to pop up and not let me change slides. Let's go. There we go. This is the Counter Guys. Oh, the Counter Guys Jean Grey deck. You might note that it looks familiar because we've covered a very similar deck on this channel before. There's one change I think I'd make for the current meta. We'll talk about it in a second. This deck basically says if I've got Jean and I can get priority, Goliath or Doom wins me the game. Right? Jean in this deck says, I'm going to stack power up here and mess with you. You're going to have trouble filling this location, especially if I play Jean on turn 4. And if you're going to have trouble filling this location, I'm going to be able to get either fill it or not fill it at my demand by using cards like Nightcrawler, Jeff, and Vision, and you're not going to be able to match me. And if you can play there, then my Nebula in another location or my suddenly moving Jeff or whatever is going to win. This is not great against Thanos. Thanos has Stones and Vision. Stones and Vision cause us problems, but this is excellent, excellent, excellent against Hela, and I think there's one tweak that you can use to make this really beat Hela, and that tweak is Cosmo. That's number 6 right here. I'd fit Cosmo. What would I replace for Cosmo? Unfortunately, probably Negasonic. I know that's like blasphemy, but it's probably what I would do. So Nebula can be Echo or suddenly go to Elektra or Spidey. I really like the idea of Elektra here because then if they try to fill the location with ones, the Jean location with ones, I can just get rid of that with an Elektra, and Spider-Man's the single card that's most glaringly missing from this deck. Same thing for Silk or Jeff. You're going to need one. You don't need Negasonic. I think that could be Cosmo, but I don't think that could be any other card in the game. You do need Eliath and Jean. Lad can be Jubilee. You lose a bit, but not too much. I would try Angela if I didn't have Elsa. And again, Cosmo, 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 because if you have priority, and it's not hard to get priority, and you have Jean down, you know where they're going to play, right? And you can now play Eliath or Cosmo to win you the game. This is the Counter Guys build. We saw something similar ages back from Thursday 4. All right, so this won 64% of its games with a .73 cube rate in 55 games. That's huge. It's just feasting on Hela right now. So Nebula blind right over Nightcrawler mid. Elsa mid is generally better than a mover mid. Jean mid, if mid is a good location, obviously, on Elsa, is generally better than a 2. I don't like Negasonic yet if you could avoid it, unless you know for sure where they're going to play. And if you're going to play Miles, I don't hate moving a card if I don't get Jean. Turn 4 is 2 2s or Negasonic and Miles. Turn 5 is Vision or Start to Go Wide. And turn 6 is Doom or Alioth. Quick hit count. We got Nebula, Nightcrawler, Elsa, Jeff, Lad, Vision, and Alioth. So we got a 7er. Not bad. And then we've just got a couple of really other nice variants in this deck. All right. My shop was junk. I didn't buy any of this stuff. Not that it's junk. I'm not spending on pixels. I have 2 Quinjets I really like, both the Ghost Rider Quinjet and the Steampunk Quinjet with propellers that go, so I don't need another Quinjet. I have a Hip and 2 other great Ronins. I have a Hip and another great Jane. I have a Hip Yondu. I have a Hip Black Bolt. I have a Hip Leader, and I have a Hip Titania. Actually, I have multiple variants for all these cards that I like a lot. However, during the week that I was away, I opened 2 more Sunspots at random. These 2 Sunspots are, as you can see, the Pandart, and then the one where he's combining with Warlock. I would prefer, these are both great variants, right? I'm not sad to have more great variants, but hey, the bottom row is 4 other frickin' Sunspots I have. I have the cool Brazilian Carnival looking one. I have the Hip. Of course, I have the Hip. I have the one they gave us as a Twitch drop, and I have the giant bundle one from way back when. So I am swimming in Sunspot variants. Thanks, game, for the Sunspots, but I think there's one release Sunspot now I don't have. Yeesh. All right. Certain tiers of support on Patreon come with on-air thanks. We have Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, DG Winfield, Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Father Newman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., Jay Nevereat, JD McDonaldino, Akela Platano, Kirtix Lee, Koire, Doku, Philip Ratkovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Rob Silverman, Robert Rivern, The Bizza, Jay Bussy, X vs V, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, Models, Louis Antunes, Matt Conduit, Matt H, Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Pretty Chill, Seamus, Spike Jones, 2 Ties, The Pirate King, Tucker, The Homie Min, and of course, Gunny, who's running the King of the Hills that you should all be a part of and join. All right. The first 2 decks are completely wild. The second deck is fun and beats Hela. So everyone who's like, how do I beat Hela? How do I use Jean? Use that. But the first 2 decks are 2 of the best decks in Marvel Snap right now. And you should play them. And we have them here exclusively. Hit that sub, hit that like, hit that comment. Check out the Patreon if you want to participate in all the great stuff we have there. We appreciate you. And we'll see you tomorrow when we break down Proxima Midnight in another Snap Take. Peace, y'all.